For your players, this is a grind getting ready for the season. To come off the practice field, see a bunch of dogs and puppies. I mean, what does that do for their state of mental health?
Training camp can get a little monotonous, and we've been, it should be hard. Training camp should be hard, but at times we try to break it up, whether we bring in a guest speaker like we had last night, which was unbelievable, with Larry Fitzgerald talking to the team. And then today, we try to present our players a number of different organizations to support and community service. Our guys get involved heavily in spring and summer mostly, and this is one organization that some of our players may end up doing some community service work with. And so it's a great way to change it up a little bit, and it looks like the Guide Dogs for the Blind will have a couple willing participants to come over and help them out next spring.
And you have a personal connection to the organization also, growing up?
Well, yeah, I grew up. My Uncle Joe was blind, and he had 2 guide dogs during my lifetime that I remember. So I just remember that it changed his life significantly. So I have appreciation personally for it, and this is nothing that we mandate for our players, but a number of them are to be eagerly awaiting their opportunity to help out at some point, after the season.
It sounds like there's definitely like a training camp element for the dogs too right now. They're puppies,
yeah,
right?
It looks that way. Yeah, probably all along. I'm sure they have their good days, and maybe a couple days that could use improvement, but not unlike all the rest of us. So
you see a different side of your players, big tough guys, put them in front of a puppy and something changes.
Yeah, I mean, most people, that's what happens. I don't know that anybody's immune to that. But, again, it's such a great organization that helps people that need help, and so I think our guys appreciate that, and they also got a lot of animal lovers, I'm sure, on the team. So
do you remember specifically about your experience in your family with your uncle and guide dogs and what that meant for him to live like his?
Yeah, it changed his life because he was able to be more independent, and he was a very independent guy for being, having been blind since he was 10 or 12 years old, and so I remember him being able to do a lot of things that I couldn't imagine he would be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was always looked up to him, and I just know how much it changed his life. So I have a deep appreciation for it. And the Travers family, which is heavily involved with Cal football, also is heavily involved with the organization Guide Dogs for the Blind, and so that's how I initially got connected. Todd Travers took me over there just on a whim, and so they asked if any of our players might be wanting to do some volunteer charity work, and I said, I don't know, we could ask them, and it looks like they probably found a few.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Quick football question.
Yeah.
As everything plays out between UCLA, but they stay there, is it something you watch at all?
I'll pay attention to the results. I don't get caught going down the rabbit hole, so to speak. I just think you could go through a million different scenarios, and when it gets reported, whatever happens. I don't really spend a lot of mental energy on it. I'll read the news that you report. So
you've got a scrimmage coming up tomorrow.
Yep.
What are you looking for in particular?
Just another step in the execution. I think we talked last week. It was pretty clean in terms of our procedure and operation. Now we need to really hone in on the execution of the individual plays, both sides of the ball. We're looking, we talk about this all the time, looking for earned plays on both sides, that we're not having busts, whether it's a coverage bust or a protection bust. We're looking for earned plays on both sides, just good football.
When are you looking to figure out who's going to start that first game at each position?
We'll release a depth chart here shortly, and some of it's become pretty clear, and then there's some positions where we're going to have a starting lineup, but there's going to be a number of guys that rotate.
Linebacker really seems like both inside and outside seem like one of those groups.
So I know the depth chart's eagerly awaited, but there will be a few position groups that maybe depends on what the other team's offense starts in, or what the other what the first call of the game on our offense is, will determine who's in the game. But the good thing is there's a few groups that have more depth that we can rotate through there, and some guys that can help us win.
And when does fall camp officially end and game prep officially start, and what happens in that segue?
Yeah, next Wednesday is the first day of school, so our schedule changes, and we will introduce our first opponent starting next week. So we don't officially break camp until school starts, but we'll transition schedules next Wednesday, and then starting next week we'll introduce our first opponent.
And the practices become a lot more focused on the opponent then?
Yeah, early in the week it'll be about half and half.
Okay.
So we'll introduce the opponent, but it won't be the entire practice, and late in the week it'll turn into more of a traditional game week preparation.